It's time for your weekly obsession, bringing you the latest drag news, pageant talk, and interviews from the source for drag in Arizona and nationally, ArizonaDrag.com. Welcome to Drag Talk with your host, Edward Michael.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drag Talk Live, brought to you by ArizonaDrag.com. My name is Edward Michael, and I will be your host for the next hour as we talk drag news, pageant talk, and we will be joined by Miss Gay Arizona America Espressa Grande, as well as the cast from the Arizona Pride Tour coming to Arizona starting next month. But right now, let's get right to it. And please welcome to the show. He will be joining me all hour long. Please welcome the reigning nationals, or the reigning and the symbol of excellence for the state of Arizona, Miss Espressa Grande.
Hello.
Oh my.
I thought because even though I wasn't in drag that I would still bring out, the hat. Hi, Edward.
I love it. How are you?
Girl, I'm good. I'm alive. I'm breathing. 2020, honey. 2020 was not elevated, honey, at all.
It seems like it has been a long time since I've seen you.
Oh my God, it's been forever. Because I remember when I was booked with Piper at Charlie's, you weren't here. So that was actually the only thing that I did during quarantine, actually, what drag-wise, was that. And then obviously Lady Christian and I came back for a couple weeks, but then we shut down again. So it has been a minute.
It has, but we got all hour long to talk about it, and we're going to catch up with you and maybe, give the tea, like the children like to say.
Okay.
So let's get right into it, and let's start with some drag news. Do you love that dramatic music?
I was like, what's happening?
I absolutely love it. All right, let's get into some drag news because a lot has happened in the past year, in the last few months. So we're going to start with the All-American Goddess Pageantry System. They announced new ownership. Now, in a statement that was posted on social media from former and reigning title holders within the All-American Pageantry System, a new owner was announced. Nikki Vixen, also known as Jared M. Lawrence, was announced the new owner and national promoter for the All-American Pageantry System. The statement read in part, "It is with great pride, joy, and most importantly, honor to announce that I have assumed the role of owner and national promoter of the All-American Goddess at Large, and All-American Gent Pageantry System effective immediately." Now, this sudden change of ownership came about after a comment surfaced online from previous national owner Scott Gagne, and we're going to post this comment. Do we have it? Yes, we have the comment. So this comment was posted online from the previous owner, And that really upset a whole lot of people. So they had to make some changes. Now, Miss Arizona, being a title holder, do you have to watch what you put online?
Well, I definitely think that, I mean, you definitely should watch, I mean, or actually think through what you're about to say, because like I've had this conversation with a couple of people who are actually running for Miss Arizona whenever we come back, that we, at the end of the day, regardless of what you feel, you have to be Switzerland. So it's like really quickly, I did hashtag elevate the vote with Kim Etiquette. And instead of like literally like throwing at everybody, you know, vote for whomever, you know, we wanted people to get out and vote. And that's something that we could touch with everyone across the board. So I think as a title holder, I think you definitely just need to be that middleman to support everybody. And with that, absolutely, you should definitely think about what you say, think about what you want to say, because at the end of the day, you're representing this crown or whatever crown or title you have, for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's something that, as a national promoter, just as a figure in the community, you have to watch what you say, and especially this past year because a lot was brought to surface. So, I mean, Scott, I don't particularly care for him because of the things that
I don't know
in the past. But hopefully, the All American Goddess system is in good hands, and I believe it is, and they shall proceed forward. So, in more drag news, let's see what we have here. Cruising 7th announced a new show, and 2 show directors resigned. Now, the show bar at Cruising 7th announced a new show coming to the venue on Saturday nights. Now, this announcement came in a statement posted on their social media on Saturday, January the 16th. The new show coming to Cruising 7th is Miss Robin Banks. Now, Robin Banks is the drag queen impersonario who has been producing and hosting shows, gigs, and events around the United States for over 15 years. Miss Banks is most notably known for her sharp-tongued gift for gab and her spot-on Judy Garland impersonation, read the statement. Shortly after that announcement, the now former show director for Friday nights, Espressa Grande, posted a statement of her own and mentioned that she had resigned as show director of Friday nights. The following day, on Sunday, January the 17th, Lady Christian had posted that she also resigned as show director for Saturday nights. Now, ArizonaDrag.com learned new information that Lady Kristen had resigned from her position as show director as of November the 21st, after the decision was made by staff to postpone the show. Now, before we get into that, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on with you on why that decision was made. Okay?
10-4.
All right. So that's going to wrap up our drag news for today. We're going to move on to some pageant talk.
I'm gonna get that crown. Let's move around. Let's take our bodies to. I'm gonna get that crown. Arms, legs, snatch. I'm gonna get that crown. Get the crown on, girl. Get the crown on, girl. Get the crown on, girl. I'm gonna get that crown. Snatch. It's mine. Snatch. It's mine. Snatch. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine.
Thank you to Alexis Mateo for that song called The Crown.
Ooh, it got me excited.
Well, let's talk about pageantry, because pageantry has stopped for a little bit during the heart of the pandemic. but it has now continued as many national systems have continued with their preliminary season. So let's first catch you up on the national pageants that have already canceled their 2021 national pageants. That would be Mr. US of A MI Classic and Diva, which was originally scheduled for March of 2021. This is the second year that they had to cancel due to the global pandemic. And Miss Gay US of A and Miss Gay US of A Classic, which is originally scheduled for May of 2021, has already canceled their pageant as well. Now, there are still some pageants planning to go on in 2021 with the COVID-19 restrictions included in their guidelines, and they include Mr. Gay United States MI, Miss Gay United States Femme Fatale, Miss Gay United States At Large, Miss Gay United States Icon. Those pageants will take place on May the 19th to the 23rd at the park in Roanoke, Virginia. Now, Mr. Gay US of A and Mr. Gay US of A At Large are also scheduled for October 2021. Now, Miss Gay Arizona, your pageant had to be canceled along with some of your preliminaries. How hard is it to make that decision to cancel pageants? What do you all take into consideration?
I think it's different for every Miss Arizona. I think, to be honest, for me, it was actually there really wasn't a decision like either or. I spoke with Daniel, Daniel Ekstrom, who's the owner of Miss Gay Arizona America, and at the end of the day, I wanted nothing but 100% safety for the girls and for me, and I just told him, I'm like, as Miss Arizona, I can't, in good faith, let these girls compete and, have that weighing on me that something could happen under my watch. So Daniel and I obviously sat down and we figured out, we basically had to talk it through, see what it looked like. And then we just made the decision. So Queen of the Desert was postponed, which is the final preliminary to Miss Gay Arizona America. And then we also decided to postpone Miss Gay Arizona America as well. So obviously the things that we take into consideration are, people's health. That was number one, and safety. And, it just was for me, it was just the right thing to do. Outside of drag, I worked for Hospice of the Valley, and I've been working through this whole pandemic and going to the office and helping and seeing the front lines of COVID and what it's doing to our community. And Daniel and I spoke and I said, no, I can't. With what I've seen and also what I've seen in our community, I just can't let this happen. So we said, no, ma'am.
Now, you had previously announced that it is possible that it may happen in April. Is that still the plan, or should we expect another announcement soon?
You should probably be expecting another announcement. I think that the biggest things, and you and I touched on this a little bit before the show started, really is all about what venues are open and what is safe for these girls, because mind you, we still have one more prelim that we have to hold, and then we have to hold Miss Arizona. So it all basically comes down to the safety of our girls and the safety of us. And if that can stay in line, then we'll see what happens.
Well, we will be waiting for that announcement. Hopefully we will be able to have the pageant, but if we have to extend your reign another year, I'm okay with that as well.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Rock. Thank you. She's going to be Miss Arizona 2030.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our pageant talk. Oh, no, there's one more pageant talk. Hold on. I'm just reading my notes. There actually was a pageant that took place this past weekend. That was All-American Goddess Pageantry System. They held their first preliminary back, which was a triple header. That was Dream State All-American Goddess, All-American Goddess at Large, and All-American Gent. That was held in Houston, Texas. They had 3 contestants for Goddess at Large, 3 contestants for Goddess, and 1 for Gent. So we want to send our congratulations to Michael J. Valentine, who was the winner of Dream State All-American Gent, Kara Fox, who won all categories for Dream State All-American Goddess at Large. Muffy Van Belt was the first alternate, and Jasmine Pierce was the second alternate, and as well as the winner for All-American, Dream State All-American Goddess as well. So congratulations to them. There's still pageants happening across the country as every state has different regulations. So that's going to wrap up our pageant talk for this week. We're going to take a brief commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk the tea with Miss Gay Arizona America. And we are back with my special guest, Miss Gay Arizona America, the elevated one, Miss Espressa Grande.
Hi. Hello.
And before we get into the tea, we have a question from the audience. Archie is watching, and he asked, did you ever think about having Miss Gay Arizona virtually?
Oh, that's funny. Edward and I were talking about that too before the show started. I think in a perfect world, if we can have the pageant in general, my idea would actually be to have a closed prelim where it would be just the contestants, myself, and the judges. And I feel like that would be the best if we were to go back and everything was still very much restricted. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the only thing I'm thinking about is the health and safety of the girls and everyone that is involved with Miss Gay Arizona America. But you never know. We might throw the hat in the ring for a Zoom meeting, honey. That would be the most elevated Zoom meeting I've been in this whole year.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for that announcement. All right, so let's talk the tea here for a minute. First, for those who may not know you, introduce yourself a little bit. Talk about how long you've been doing drag, what you have done in your career, etc.
Okay, well, I'm Espressa Grande. I am the reigning Miss Gay Arizona America 2019 and 2020. I have been doing drag for about 3 years. It'll be 4 years this coming April. And up until now, I've had an every Friday night show that I call TGIF, Thank Grande It's Friday. Yeah, and I spent, after coming back from Miss Gay America, I spent a lot of my time working in the community, trying to work with as much people as I possibly can. I prided myself in my show to really have as many different kind of entertainers as I possibly could in my shows, because I wanted it to be a melting pot. And so that's kind of how my show got noticed by a lot of people, was because I not only had drag queens, I would have pageant queens, I'd have pageant kings, I'd have drag kings, I'd have all types of entertainers, bio queens, bio kings, you know, entertainers who pushed their music as their art. And then after the quarantine, after COVID hit, and the political rumblings started with Biden becoming our president. Well, before that, when we were voting, me and Kim Etiquette started a campaign with Mark Kelly called #ElevateTheVote. And so what we did is we pretty much made small videos of a bunch of questions, because when it hit, I had so many people coming to my DMs asking me all kinds of questions about voting, and it kind of shocked me. And it kind of shocked me to see that there were so many people in our community that didn't know a lot about voting. So what I did is I took that as a platform with Kim Etiquette, and we were like, let's just make small, cute little videos and see what happens. And we had such a great reaction to it. So that's me. She's just a swollen child of the Lord.
Well, thank you for that marvelous introduction.
Oh.
So speaking about what you did with it was the Democratic Party of Arizona, is that correct?
Yeah, so what we did is we worked with the LGBT Democratic Caucus, and we also kind of piggybacked with Mark Kelly, his campaign people, his LGBT team, who are fantastic people, by the way. And we kind of just melted it together, very much like I do my shows. I wanted every kind of person to be involved, and we did Elevate the Vote.
That's awesome. Now, how important was that as being Miss Gay Arizona? What made you want to get involved in doing that? Because sometimes a lot of people don't want to get involved in politics. So what made you want to be involved in that?
I felt like it was my duty as Miss Arizona to do it, and a duty that I wanted to do, because so many people were afraid of getting mixed up in politics because they were afraid of saying the wrong thing, or they were afraid of not saying anything or not enough. And so, and also, I felt like we needed someone who was not pushing aside in any aspect politically, to be a forefront person, to show that as a reigning title holder, you can't just push what you feel, you have to push what the community feels as a whole. And so I feel like that's what pushed me to do this, because I wanted to show entertainers that yes, you may have your own feelings about something and you might feel a certain type of way. As a title holder, you have to take everyone's feelings with that. And so I had to speak up for everybody. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to speak up, and I wanted people to say, you know, that like I'm here, and that I'm here to help in any way I possibly can.
That's awesome. Well, you had mentioned that you were surprised by how many people asked you questions. Arizona Drag, we also did a drag voter squad, and I was also surprised by how many people didn't know exactly what to do when it came to voting. So I thought it was awesome what you and Kim did, because it took all of us in order to accomplish the goal, and we did it.
So we did it. Amen. Hallelujah. Yes, we did it. And I think, and I do definitely want to address that. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing that, you know, you were doing a beautiful campaign for voting, and Kim Etiquette and I were doing a beautiful thing for voting, and it never ever felt like there was any kind of competition. Like, we were all in this for this same goal. We were all doing it, and I mean, and I think that is what made me so proud of our community during that time is that like you reached out to me and asked me how I was doing, and I reached out to you, and there were lots of people on your team that reached out to me and said congratulations on all the things you're doing, and vice versa. And I think that really kind of instilled a lot more love in me, especially during a time where there was so much adversity, and there still is. Like, it was amazing to feel that love and to know that, okay, this is what the LGBTQIA plus community is in Phoenix and in Arizona. It was beautiful.
So we have a question from the audience, from
Ooh.
Michael. What question from voters surprised you the most?
I would say one of them that I got the most was, how do I register? How do I know that I am registered to vote? You know, that was literally the biggest, you know. If it wasn't that I'm not registered, what do I do? It was very much the, how do I know if I'm registered? You know, I've moved so many times. How do I know that? So that was pretty much one of the ones that was shocking. So that's, I mean, it was kind of surprising. I don't think it was too much shocking. So that's kind of why Kim and I led, you know, with the websites, you know, and all of the plugging of how people can get that information.
Awesome. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about drag during the pandemic. How has it affected you as your performer, your reign, your show?
I mean, obviously, you know, at first you know, was like, okay, we'll still do this. It'll be fine. And then, you know, like I said before, it kind of slammed shut and stopped completely when I had a front row seat to seeing what COVID-19 is doing to Arizona. And I just could not in good faith, you know, be on a stage while so many people I know and love are hurting and are dying from COVID. And I'm watching, you know, and it was just very scary. You know, I'm so thankful for the people around me that like lifted me up, because, you know, I was seeing children lose their parents and go into the system and had no reason to be in the system. And so drag definitely stopped for me. And I when all that started to happen, and I realized that it was the smartest thing. And at that moment, I had to reach for not being selfish. You know, it's not about me anymore. It's about the community. It's about the community. And I was like, all right, drag needs to take a back seat for a while, and we need to stay home, and we need to be safe, because there will be nothing happening if we don't, you know? So as far as my reign goes, right when Arizona got shut down the first time, Daniel messaged me and asked me if I would be willing to sign on for another year. And I said, absolutely, because we were trying to mimic what was happening at Miss Gay America level. And that's what happened with our reigning Miss Gay America, Bataya Hart. So I was ready. I was like, whatever you need, I'm here. I'm sitting here looking pretty, ready for a Chipotle burrito bowl. So let me know what you need.
Now, tell me, you having a front row seat to it because of what you do in your daytime job, how do you think if you weren't in that row, you may have had a different opinion about doing drag during the pandemic, or do you think it would have been the same?
I think it still would have been the same. I don't think I would have been so harsh, I think, if I could be honest. If I didn't do what I do, or do what I do and did during this pandemic so far, I obviously would have definitely still followed the rules and stayed home. And I think personally for me, I would have stayed home, but I don't think I wouldn't have been as emotionally invested, because I didn't see it every day, you know, but I still would have stayed home. I'm like, Miss Rona ain't gonna catch me.
Definitely. All right. Let's see. Let's move on to our next topic. We brought it up in Drag News about Cruisin' Seventh. You resigned as a show director at Cruisin' Seventh. You had a very successful Friday night show. Thank Grande, it's Friday. Now, if I was reading your statement correctly, it didn't look like the show was going away.
Mhm.
It just looked like it may be going away from C7.
Mhm.
So, first, you want to tell us anything about that decision? um, that decision that you made as far as resigning as a show director?
Right. It really goes back to honestly exactly what we were just talking about. I'm definitely people who know me. I'm very much a very humble person, and I push everyone around me to the front and give. I feel like there's room for all of us, and being a show director of Teacher IF and it became very successful, and I'm forever thankful to Cruisin' Seventh for giving me a place to showcase so much art and so much art that is completely different from a lot of drag shows you see in Phoenix. And but at that same time, being a show director of an every week show is a lot of work. And for it to be successful, it just becomes even more work. And it's just a continuous cycle of getting harder and harder and harder. And so at this moment, what I had decided is the reason why I stepped away was because I wanted not only to focus on some major things that are happening for Espressa in 2021, but also it was time for a shift. And I was very graciously ready to give that shift to somebody else, whomever eventually takes it. And point blank, they want to come back, and I'm not ready to show direct a show yet with Arizona leading the way for the highest numbers in the world for COVID. But there's no ill will, there's no tea in that. I wish them nothing but the best. They were very supportive in me. They were very supportive in me before this. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Cruisin' Seventh does and what Robin Banks does with Saturday nights. And I definitely said in my post, TGIF is not going anywhere. I'm just brewing up the perfect cup of elevation.
Well, I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yes, I'm excited, and like I said, there's so many huge things coming with for Espressa in 2021, and I want to give those things that are coming in 2021 just as much love and passion and drive that I gave to winning Miss Arizona, to having a very successful Friday night show at C7, and I feel like the only way to do that is to, graciously step aside and see who does next, because they're gonna have Grande shoes to fill, honey.
Yes, they will. Now, I never heard of Robin Banks. Have you?
I've worked with Robin like a couple of times, 1 or 2 times. Lady Christian had her a couple times in her show. She's a very campy comedy queen. And I've worked with her a couple of times, and I hope that, she brings that to the stage. Cause I think Lady and I had very successful shows at C7. So she has her work cut out for her, but at the end of the day, I hope that she can deliver. And from what I've seen so far, she's very talented. She's a very talented queen. So I can't wait to see what happens.
All right. Well, we're going to talk to you a little bit more because we still have more things to talk about. But right now, we're going to move on. And if we do, if you want to hang out for a minute, we're going to move on to our next guest. We're going to have Christopher J. Hall from the Arizona Pride Tour, as well as Dirtee X and Justin Deeper Love are going to join us. So hang on one moment. We're going to go to Christopher J. Hall at this time, and we're going to talk about the Arizona Pride Tour. Testicle difficulties. Miss Espressa Grande, it's a live show. What can I tell you?
Hey, honey, we roll with the punches.
Now, Christopher couldn't join us, so we did do a tape interview, but unfortunately we have a little testicle difficulties. But the good thing is we have two of the cast members, Dirtee X and Justin Deeper Love, here with us.
Yeah.
So let's welcome them to the show.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I feel like I'm like overly excited because I haven't seen anyone from the community in so long. So I'm almost like, oh my God, people.
It's so weird to actually see somebody and actually physically give them a hug, you know, when it's safe.
Okay. When someone hugged me a while ago, I almost got scared. I was like, what is this?
It happens still? Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Well, welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on to Drag Talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the the 2021 Arizona Pride Tour that is going to start on February the 6th. You two are part of the cast. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what the tour is and who it's benefiting?
Sure. So Miss Nature and myself are on the Imperial Court line, and so we decided this year for the benefit that we want to do is to kind of encompass all the prides throughout Arizona. And so we are starting out in Tucson on February 6th. It will be at 6 p.m. at Bumstead's, and we're going to have a whole variety of performers, local performers, and also some line members of the court. So our next stop will be in Yuma, which will be Saturday, February 13th at the American Legion. And that will include a variety of performers as well. I'll name them off after we're done here. Bisbee, February 20th at 7 p.m. at Chuckleheads. And then we have on March 6th in Casa Grande, it will be at Boston's Pizza. And then March 27th, Flagstaff at 7 p.m., Sabano Coffee House. And so it's going to benefit Flagstaff Pride, Phoenix Pride, Bisbee Pride, Tucson Pride, and also Yuma Pride. And we asked Dirtee X to be our host. We wanted to bring on somebody who doesn't really have, you know, the opportunity coming from a smaller town to have the opportunity, you know, to be out there. So, and we love Dirtee. I've worked with Dirtee for ever since I started drag. And so I'll let Dirtee take over.
Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, I was not shocked, but very blessed to have this opportunity and very thankful to just have the exposure. For those that don't know, that I actually started drag here in Casa Grande. I'm originally from California. I've lived here about 11 years now in Arizona, and 10 of which has been drag life and my career in drag. And I don't do it quite as often. Nor have I really had any titles or anything other than the Casa Grande Queen. But I love what I do. I am very, very proud of my little town. I'm so blessed to have had the support. I mean, our shows are very well attended, have been sold out in many locations. I only do it once a month here right now. During the pandemic, we're actually not doing it at all. I have a new location that we're going to start in May at Boston's Pizza. We're going to start it up again, probably depending on how the pandemic goes. But yeah, I just kind of I wanted to have that safe space that I did in California, and that was one of my goals, to do something here in Casa Grande. Many of us live in between. We have 45-minute in between two big cities, either direction, and we don't really have anything for those people here in this area. And that was kind of something that I wanted to get to. It was something that I wanted to do, was to create that safe space for everybody here. And that's exactly what the shows are, safe spaces.
Very cool.
So Dirtee X, tell me, have you ever hosted a tour of this nature before? Because I know this is the second tour that Christopher J. Hall has put together in Arizona. Have you ever hosted a tour of this nature?
Not hosted. I was on the. I was very fortunate to be part of art as well with Carnita, and I did that last year with both Justin and Naughty. Or Miss Nature, I'm sorry. But sorry, she's gonna kill me. But I was very fortunate to be a part of that tour, and that was also a few cities. We were on the road with Stacey Lane Matthews as well, and that was fun. I mean, but I've never actually had the opportunity to host something like this. So the answer to your question is no. But I've hosted my own show for many years.
That's awesome. And when I was talking to Christopher J. Hall, I had asked him why not a Phoenix state, and he had a very good response. He said because he wants to focus on the rural cities that don't normally get drag, and here in Phoenix we have a lot of drag. So that's wonderful. But you're still including the Phoenix Pride organization. So Justin, you being Mr. Tucson Pride, tell us why was it the Pride organizations that you guys wanted to focus on?
Well, mainly also because I do represent Tucson Pride, but also because they, especially during the pandemic, I think they deserve to have proceeds given to them, because nonprofits are hurting right now. So are our local businesses, and of course, all the festivals have been canceled in 2020, possibly 2021. We don't know what direction that's going to go, but the festivals are some of the biggest money makers for the Pride organizations, and I think it's very important that we do keep raising money for these organizations, especially for the smaller rural towns such as Bisbee and Flagstaff and even Yuma. We also reached out to Mojave County. We didn't get anything back, as they are actually on their third year of being a Pride organization as well.
That's awesome. Now, I also spoke to Christopher about the safety concerns that you guys are going to have during this tour. You guys are having limited audience members, social distancing, no contact with the entertainers. Tipping will all be virtually. Plus, you're also giving the opportunity for people to tune in virtually because the shows are going to be broadcast on Twitch. Tell us, how hard is that decision, or you guys probably have already done shows during the pandemic. How different or how hard is that from doing your regular shows?
It's super hard. Being confined to a little area, and I've been on some shows where you have to wear a face shield. It's different because obviously we're grieving for the norm, and that as performers, that's interacting with the audience, and that's where I feel I can. Because when I'm on stage and I'm confined to it, I get in my head. Because I suffer from anxiety big time. So I'm thinking, and I can see all the tables, and they're just, I can see if they're on their phone. I can see if they're, they're paying attention. And so I get in my head and I'm like, am I boring them? So to me, it's like, I have to get off stage and I want to just, touch them and dance on them. And so that's, I can't wait till we can get back to the point to do that. And I think a lot of drag performers can vouch for that as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just the even
So
person.
tell us, where can people buy tickets? Because I know one of the shows is almost sold out. I heard from Christopher. Where can people buy tickets?
You can buy it at the go to the Imperial Court az.org site. You're going to go to the event / calendar of events tab, and actually it's at the third one down. It will say 2021 Arizona Pride Tour. You click on that, and each location is listed. Each leg of the tour is listed, and you can purchase them on there. And it's $15.
Awesome. We will also post it on our social media channels. Dirtee, you have something to say?
I was just going to add, you can also find us on Facebook. We have an event page, and you can purchase the tickets through there as well. If you search under the 2021 Arizona Pride Tour, it'll pull it up, and then there's a link to the ticket website there as well, in case it's easier for some people.
Wonderful. And we'll also post it on our social media. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. Hopefully I will be able to stop by on one of the tour stops if you will have me.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to the tour, and I wish you guys the best of luck. And thank you for joining us on Drag Talk.
Thank
you so much for having us, you guys.
Thank you.
Take care. God bless you guys.
You're welcome. You have a good night.
Bye.
That was Dirtee X and Justin Deeper Love.
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
I know, it's such a great idea. I love it. I can't wait to see it.
And for them to think about the Pride organizations, because they have been suffering this year because a lot of them did not get to do their Pride festivals, and that's mostly where they earn their money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so let's get back to you, Miss Gay Arizona America. Now you have a new show coming up called The Follies at a new venue, Cobalt. Tell us about the Follies show coming up.
I am so excited. Okay, can I just tell? I am so excited. Yes, it's going to be at Cobalt at Park Central. It's going to be every Saturday night, and we are kicking off February 13th. And it's going to be an amazing show, an amazing cast. And so it's going to be great. I'm excited. It's going to be a fresh look. I can't wait to share so much with everybody once it gets closer. But the cast is fantastic. It's so funny because it's almost like what we just said, where it's like I've interacted with these people just recently who are going to be involved in Follies, and it was like Christmas all over again because I haven't seen anybody in such a long time. And I'm super excited. I actually met with Jeff Perales, who's the owner of Cobalt, yesterday, and he is doing everything he possibly can to keep the girls safe, as well as the patrons of Cobalt. I trust him very, very much, especially when it comes to, COVID precautions. It's amazing. It's amazing. He's doing a wonderful job. And I do have to shout out that the bars that I've seen have been doing a wonderful job too. Like I recently went to The Rock, and they're doing a fantastic job there too. And I went to C7. So I think it's amazing just in general how much the bar owners are really taking it seriously and trying to be as safe as they can, especially with this new show, which technically isn't new. It's basically just getting a little facelift, and it's going to be raring to go in February. I'm so excited. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited because I think Cobalt is a great venue, and you're correct. Jeff Perales has been doing a great job in following the social distance guidelines. So I'm excited to watch the Follies show.
Yeah, and it's kind of full circle. It's kind of full circle for me because when I started drag, my first time ever in drag 3 years ago was at Tons and Helen's newcomer show at the old Cobalt. So like that was my first time ever in drag, and then I won a couple of times, and then that's how me and Lady Christian met. And I mean, that literally is kind of how my drag career kind of took off. So it's kind of awesome to be going back to where it all started. So I'm excited.
We got a lot of your fans in the comments, Miss Thing.
Oh, honey, I love you. I miss people so much. I miss people. I'm confined to an office Monday through Friday.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful to have a job, but like I am such an interactive person as Cody and Espressa. So like even with what Justin Deeper was saying about performing, like it's terrible. Because I am very much a person, my drag and my comedy relies on the person I'm performing to's reaction. And so when I'm like 6.5 feet away, I'm like, can you see my big butt? Like, can you see me? So I get it. I get it.
All right, Miss Arizona. I'm going to post something on the screen and you have to tell me about this, okay?
Okay, I don't. Oh, my babies.
Tell me about the Grande family photo that shook the internet. It shook me, bitch.
Oh, shut up. It does not shake nothing. Oh, I love that photo. It's such a cute photo. Shout out to Scotty. Can we, real quick, shout out to Scotty Kirby. And I'm not only saying this because he's a friend of mine, because I will tell him he's terrible to his face, but Scotty Kirby is one of the most creative people I have ever met in my life. And let me tell you why. The reason is because he customizes a photo shoot for each person that walks in that door. Like each person, like no matter if they're a drag queen, drag king, entertainer, or even if they're not an entertainer and a person's coming in for just a photo, like Scotty Kirby has elevated his craft to genius level. Like, I mean, he is a beautiful human and an amazing creative person. Like, I thought, I mean, when him and I were talking about building that photo, I told him kind of like what my thought was, and then he literally was like, well, what about this? And then I'm like, where are you from? Like I thought I was creative, but I'm just like, okay, I hope he never becomes a drag queen because drag queens will be scared. Yeah,
so introduce the people in the photo.
Okay. So this is the elevated family. The beautiful, handsome man in the photo is Benny Blessed. He is a rapper and musician. And the beautiful ponytailed child of the Lord, that is Camila Grande. Also, lots of people may know him as Jay Ward. But he is a brand new drag queen that has been brewing during the COVID pandemic. Benji and I have known each other about a year. Him and I met right before I went to St. Louis. And he actually was, it started, he was like, I was recommended you to host a benefit that I want to hold about against domestic violence. And it really spoke to me. And so him and I met and we literally vibed that second. And I thought literally that was going to be it. I came in to host this gig, peace out, A-Town down, and it was just going to be done. But I have such a strong connection to Benji that it was beautiful. And he fell in love with drag and he fell in love with performing. And he literally asked me, he's like, I would love for you to mentor me. And I was like, well, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I don't want to make more mistakes. So I co-parent Benji with Jeremiah Daniels. So I try to bring like the creativity and the performance level to it, while Jeremiah really helps Benny like focus on the male entertainer aspect of it. And I love Jeremiah Daniels so much. Jeremiah has supported me all through my Arizona America reign and even before that. And so it's beautiful. He's become a very, very close family to me. And I adore him. He's my little man. And then the other one.
Now,
how much time do we have?
Talk to me about Jay Ward, because I've known Jay for a long time and I adore him. But he has been killing me with these promo photos, and I didn't even know it was him.
Honey, you know, we're over here making the perfect latte, honey. No. Jay Ward and I met, actually, Jay Ward and I met at one of Benediction's snack shows. It was actually the first time she ever asked me to be there. And it was just an introduction. I mean, it was nothing crazy. And then right before we shut down the first time, Jay actually reached out to me, very much the same kind of story as Benny, and said, you know, I really love your art. I really very much support your drag. I would love to learn, you know, makeup skills, drag skills, you know, whatever. And I had made a promise. I was like, I'm not having any more kids. I was like, no, we ain't doing it. It isn't happening. No, not again. And again, it happened the same way. It was so organic. Jay came over and we hung out and we talked about drag. And the thing I think that sparked me the most is he wanted to know the history of drag and what I knew about the history of drag. And it wasn't about makeup. It wasn't that first, it was literally just conversation. And that kind of like really sparked something in me, like, okay, that he's serious about this. And so we started doing the makeup and it just snowballed from there. And I think the reason that it's so amazing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish.
Oh, the one thing I want to say is that the cool thing about this is it's not just a drag family to me. Like these humans, these beautiful humans have literally been at the forefront of the pandemic right alongside me in their jobs. And these are young adult businessmen who are, you know, striving to be the best humans they can be, and we just so happen to love drag at the same time. And I think that's why I was so sure about making these two Grandes, because of how much love they have for not only drag, but just for their life in general and for the business side of their, you know, life outside of drag and drag itself, you know. And so I think that's why it was easy. You know, I asked both of them, actually, and it happened.
Can I just tell you how much I am in love with the Grande family, with all three of you? I mean, I've known you for a while. I've known Benny for a while. I've known Jay for a while. And you guys are all so very humble. And that's what makes me fall in love with all three of you guys, and very supportive of everybody else.
Absolutely. And I told them from the moment we started, I said, at the end of the day, it's not about one-upping somebody else. You know, I'm living proof through that. I told them, like, I'm living proof that if you mind your, like, I'm going to be frank, if you mind your own business and focus on yourself, like, greatness will come to you. You know, whether it be I minded my own business and just performed and became a show director, or I minded my own business and stayed focused and became Miss Gay Arizona America on my first try. You know, I've instilled that, and that is something they actually also brought with them themselves. Like they keep to themselves, mind their business, and are just worried about elevating themselves.
So one last thing, where did the "Elevated You" slogan come from?
Oh, when I was running for America in general, I was really scared because at the beginning I thought that all they wanted was a certain type of queen. They wanted a 5'9" to 5'10", 110 pounds soaking wet woman. And that was all, and they wanted someone who bucked and or twirled, because we never do both. And I realized through my journey of running for America that they're literally only looking for you to be an elevated version of yourself. And so with that, boom, it just took over. And it's applied to everything, like my entire career and moving forward. Like, as long as you stay focused and bring the best you can be, like, that's how you will make it.
Well, Miss Arizona, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much for being my first guest, and we kicked it off Grande style tonight.
We did, with extra whip, honey.
Before we say goodnight, I do have to mention about Arik Cavalli's Drag Wars. Maybe this is something you're interested, or one of your children. It is time to let your TIPC, are you talented, innovative, professional, and creative? If so, you are the right choice for Arik Cavalli's Drag Wars. The casting is now. It's an all-inclusive drag competition where all drag is valid, open to all forms of entertainers as well as genders. All you have to do is send your 3-minute audition video by February the 1st to acdragwars@gmail.com, and you can possibly win $1,000 cash prize.
Hey, that's a down payment for a gown, honey.
All right, Miss Arizona. Well, we went into overtime. We were only supposed to be here for an hour, but
hey,
it wouldn't be elevated if we didn't go over our time.
Right.
All right. Any final last words?
Well, I love you, Mr. Rock. I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Please be safe. We can only do this together. We can only do this together. We can only stop this virus together. Please stay home. If you're going to be out, please wear a mask. I don't want to start calling people out. I've seen too many of people in the community not wearing them. Just wear a mask. Be safe. Even if you don't have it or you already had it, just be safe. And we'll be together soon. Hold on. I'll give everyone one last goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Well, thank you, Miss Arizona. Talk to you later.
Bye.
That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Drag Talk. We'll be back each and every Tuesday night with a new special guest, more drag news, more pageant talk, and you, the audience. Thank you for tuning in. If you miss any part of this episode, it will be on our Facebook as well as our YouTube feed, as well as on Apple Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, the podcast. So if you rather listen to it than watch it, it will be available there. But we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Drag.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Drag Talk. For the latest news, pageant updates, and interviews, visit us online at arizonadrag.com and follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week for more Drag Talk.